Well, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to the Ipswich Indoor Sports Centre for our live and continuing coverage of the 2023 Indoor Cricket National Championships. I'm Cameron Walter, and with me, Stephen Mogg, and it is time for the Open Men's minor semi-final sudden death indoor cricket between Victoria and Queensland. Moggy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Cameron.
These two sides have had some pretty interesting clashes so far this week. Not a lot separating them. 10 runs in the first match and 15 in the second. Both going the way of Queensland, though. So we can expect a tight contest again, what will soon be this afternoon.
Yes, I can't agree more. These two teams are very good teams, and they've been having some good competition against each other over a number of years. The interesting thing, fair bit of surprises in that second game between the two teams. Came down to the last over where there was 7 required off the last ball. 6 required to win, 7 was hit. There was a penalty for bat throwing. There was a run out because players didn't keep their ground. So, it was a bit of a clutch sort of moment for Victoria. They give themselves every chance to win the game. They didn't potentially win the game. They got very excited and just fell over at the last second there with the penalty and also the run out. So, very interesting game. It's a game I've actually watched a replay of a few times so far, that last over.
Yeah, you and plenty of others. Apparently that one's gone viral on TikTok. Not a big TikTok user myself, but I'll take someone's word for that. Folks, let me take you through the two lineups for these two sides here in this minor semi-final, starting with Queensland. They're captained once again by Lyle Teskey. With him, Rob Fitzgerald, Rhys Dearness, Josh Drever, Nick Waters, Brendan Cost, Paul Drahim, and Adam McDermott. Looking at Victoria, once again captained by Justin Perkins. Joining him, Jared Armitage, Cameron Dinger, Kieran Perkins, Lachlan King, Daniel Van Hees, Corey Perrott, and Jacob Carruthers. And the umpire for the match is Andrew Hall-Villiers from the Australian Capital Territory. And it's sudden death indoor cricket. We've just seen the ACT win the major semi-final here against South Australia, so they've booked their spot in the final. For the winner of this match, it is a spot against South Australia in the prelim final. For the loser, it's curtains. So it's all on the line. And it has to be said, Moggy, it's not that often we've seen a Queensland side have to fight their way through to the final through the minor semi-final. Usually one of the top two sides. And that's probably been the case since, almost as long as I can remember. So what does that say about the tournament?
Well, overall, I think the tournament's been great. Obviously, ACT being the front runners and have been really good all week. South Australia have been sort of a bit of a surprise packet, but they've done really, really well. The rest of the 4 teams, you can almost throw a blanket over. They've been Queensland, Victoria, New South Wales and Western Australia. It's been probably one of the closest and hotly contested open grades that we've seen for a long time at this level.
And how good is it to see? I mean, that's what we want, right? We want a strong contest, and we want some unpredictability about the competition.
Yeah, we certainly do. And it's been one of those years, and credit to the teams that sort of got out there in front and led, but the rest of them had to fight pretty hard. Like, we didn't know what the final placings were until the last round of games last evening. Could have gone either way, and it could have been any of those 4 teams I mentioned earlier that were fighting out for this last spot in this game. So,
as you can see on the screen, Queensland entering the court, and they will field. They won the toss and elected to do that, Moggy. What do you make of that move?
I'm a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. Obviously, chasing is a little bit tougher if there's a big score on the boards, and you'd like to have scoreboard pressure by putting a good total out there. So, a little bit surprised by that, actually.
Well, let's have a look at maybe some of the bowlers to watch. Their leading wicket takers, Brendan Cost and Rhys Dearness with 14 apiece. Paul Drahim not that far behind on 11. So they've been their sort of strike bowlers in this lineup. Victoria in the batting stakes, well, no surprises. Justin and Kieran Perkins, 152, 159 each. Clearly the standout bats in this team. They'll be looking for them to help them set up a big total here.
Oh, I think so. Well, they're 2 quality batters, and they've been around, represented Australia before as well. So probably expecting big things from them. I feel this game's going to go right down the wire. It's going to be a very, very close game. As we've seen by the results, there are 2 very close games throughout the week. I'm expecting something very similar here.
So it is Queensland to bowl first, as we've been saying. Rob Fitzgerald, the multiple-time world and national champion, will do that for Queensland. He'll get us underway shortly. Daniel Van Hees and Lachlan King at the crease for Victoria. It's sudden death indoor cricket, the minor semi-final. Queensland against Victoria. Here we go. Oh, Van Hees starts well, backs away, gives himself a little fist pump. After sending it into the offside net for 2.
Perfect start there. And that's a good way to get your confidence up nice and early.
It's backward a point, a chance down there in the front court. A direct hit, and King would have been out. He was dragged out of his crease. He was interested in the run.
Yeah, it was a good call in the end, having to get back. But, yeah, you're right. Direct hit would have been very interesting for that one.
Straight to hand. I cannot believe that. That is an absolute gift.
What a bit of fielding there by Nick Waters in the front court. Batter called on contact, but a good ball back to the keeper. Just Lyle found himself a little bit off balance and just couldn't reach the stumps. It's a chance Queensland might go begging.
There's another dot ball.
And as we saw in the last game with South Australia and ACT, the difference, well, one of the differences was the fielding in the team. ACT taking all those half chances and South Australia not, so I think the same will be here.
Watchful, and another dot ball, so they'll finish this first over on third ball. It's an opportunity here for Queensland. If after 2 consecutive dots, the score has to change. They can't block this one out, Victoria. Just good position there from Van Hees. And despite a couple of dots, despite really gifting Queensland a wicket they didn't take, I think Victoria will be happy, particularly Van Hees with that over. A couple of great shots in there. For an opening partnership for Victoria that's made up of youth. These are some of the younger players in their side.
It is, yeah. And they've come through, and they have been in there in the last couple of years as well, and come through the junior system as well. So be interesting to see here how they respond. 5 runs is probably par for both teams, I think, at the moment.
Speaking of par, what's a good total here? What's a good score for Victoria?
I think 80 is going to be a very competitive total. Like perhaps a few more they'd like, but 80 will be a very competitive score out there.
Drahim, the bowler. Drahim? Drahim, excellent. I've been saying it right.
Yeah, he's a good young fella that's come through the system here. Played under 22s for Queensland last year. He's got his opportunity in open men's and he's taken it with both hands.
More confusion, and they get away with it again.
Now that's a couple of half chances that Queensland have missed out. They'll need to sharpen up in the field here. They'll need to execute with a few of those. And Paul's been excellent this week for Queensland too. He's topped the stats. He's been getting plenty of runs and taking some wickets too. And he's also a backup keeper. Good call by Victoria.
Yeah, good movement there from Queensland. Even the return, just not quite tidy. So just a little bit of polish lacking.
And that's probably been the story of their week so far from what I've been able to see. Which is very much un-Queensland-like. They're usually renowned for being quite polished in the field. They've just been a little bit off throughout the week, but they've got themselves here to the finals day, and anything can happen from here on in. But Victoria moving along nicely, 9 so far.
Chance, it's a direct hit. He's just made it. But again, good position from Van Hees early. Using his whole body to play that sort of down-up pull shot there.
Yeah, he's batting with a fair bit of confidence. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Problem with indoor cricket is it all happens so quickly.
Yeah. Straight back down the court for a dot ball. Brings the over to an end. Another tough little tussle. 6 runs from at 11 is on the board. You talked about something like 80 being a good score. Just take a minute to look at the last 2 encounters. Queensland won 106 to 96. And then Queensland won 72 to 57. So there's just such this broad range of where this game could go. What's interesting about both those encounters to me is that Queensland batted first on both occasions. So this is the first time we're seeing Victoria bat first and set the pace.
Yeah, exactly right.
How does that change the texture of the game?
Only time will tell. But I'm sure the Brains Trust of Queensland have a plan.
Here's Adam McDermott.
It's pleasing to see with Victoria here at the moment is, although they're not putting on massive amounts of runs, they are calling well and they're conserving their wicket, and that's such a big thing because teams get on a real roll sometimes. Third ball here to come.
It's just another confident shot from Van Hees. He's looked good. Sure, he's been given a little bit of width here and there, but he's cashed in. That's what's important, and he's looked quite comfortable doing it. Another 2 to the tally.
And I think both third balls, Queensland are bowled a little bit too wide. Inside wide. And it just helps take the pressure off a little bit and it helps move Victoria to a score of 15. 3 balls left in this third over of the game.
Good movement from King. Finds 2 through point. What can you tell us, Moggy, about what's happening in the Queensland camp? I'm a bit surprised to not see Jaden Teskey here. Injury, or has he just not been selected?
I believe maybe not selected. I haven't had a chance to speak to the guys this morning, but look, he had a fantastic year last year. He was one of the standout players for Queensland in his first year as open men's. Good shot. Probably by his own standards hasn't had the best tournament so far, and that can sometimes be a challenge. You know, you go away one year and you play really, really well, and to have to back it up the following year can be quite tough. Look, he's a quality player. I'm sure he's right in the mix. You know, and Queensland are hoping they get through this game and will have, potentially 2 more games. So they might need to use some more of the depth.
Last ball for McDermott. Just blocked by King. Slowly accelerating here, Victoria. They've gone 5 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs. And, more importantly, they're on 18 with an over to come. This is a strong start so far. Punctuated in that early period by 2-1. Certain chance that Queensland didn't take. The other one was a half chance. But since then, they haven't really offered up much.
No, they haven't. And look, I think both teams will be very happy. Obviously, Victoria just building a score nicely. Like you say, 18 is a very good start here. And Queensland, yes, they have had those couple of half opportunities, but at the same time, Victoria aren't really blowing the game away either. So they're bowling quite well and making it very tough.
Again, a great movement and placement from Van Hees.
Yeah, he uses the width of his crease pretty well, actually. Moves his feet nicely, opens up that offside, puts it away for another 2. He's made really good contact out there and played some really good shots.
It's off hands. Oh, called through. A suicidal run. You can't do that when it spills into the hands of Rob Fitzgerald. They didn't need that at all, Victoria, and they've just gifted Queensland their first wicket. We talked about opening up with a little bit of youth. That's a little bit of inexperience as well. It's cost them 5 runs.
Certainly is, and Rob Fitzgerald on that leg side line is just phenomenal. We talked about Matt Forrest in the leg side position. Australia have been so privileged over the years to have Matt Forrest, Rob Fitzgerald leg side.
Oh, yeah.
You hit it on the legs, you just don't run.
Yeah.
Big wicket for Queensland.
See, that's close to being a no ball too. Yeah. Stuck down to play it, but it's another 2. Again, straight out of the middle of the bat of Van Hees.
He's hitting the ball really well, making good contact. Yeah, the Victorian bench called for it. I think that was the right call by the umpire.
3 balls remain for Brendan Cost.
Good shot.
Kept off the net. It's a single.
It's a really good shot there by King. And those little 1%ers from Queensland there, keeping that ball off that net, just helps build some of that pressure, you know, like rather than 2, it's 1. So those little key moments in the field are going to be vital for both teams, and I expect Victoria to be doing very much the same. Change of direction by course, comes around the wicket. I think it's a good move.
2 runs to Van Hees. Mate, if he was changing direction, he'd be running at us.
I know this is a point that you always go on about.
I always do.
But if he's changing sides, wouldn't he be playing for Victoria?
No, because sides means more than just the team that you're playing.
Direction.
No, it doesn't.
You're going around, not going straight. Anyway, I'm sure we'll discuss this further again throughout the day.
Every time. Last ball.
Nice shot.
King finds the net. It's a good finish. 4 runs off the final over and a solid start there for Victoria. They've opened with some youth and banked 22 in the opening partnership of this, the minor semi-final. We're live from Ipswich Indoor Sports. If you've just joined us, it's a 2023 Indoor Cricket National Championships final series. I'm Cameron Walter, and with me, Stephen Mogg. Well, they opened with some youth, Moggy, and now they're following that up. I'm not going to say age, but certainly with the experience of the Perkins brothers.
Yeah, look, these two are absolute superstars for Victoria. They've proven themselves at this level and the Australian level before. So, look, it's an interesting move. I'm unsure, you know, would have they been better served splitting these two up and having a senior player with some of the other players. But I think, you know, especially after a pretty reasonable start there of 22 for Victoria, they're coming in here to try and capitalise the game and try and change the game and even maybe try and take it away from Queensland as well. Well,
these two, if I'm not mistaken, put on a big score against the ACT in their last game yesterday. One of 2 critical skins they needed. Despite losing that game, those skins got them into finals.
Yeah.
So, they can rely on this pair as Nick Waters gets us back underway.
Nice shot.
Kieran Perkins starts with a 2.
Beautiful shot there by Perkins. Now, Kieran, we'll have to use first names here, otherwise it's Perkins and Perkins. Good start, builds the confidence.
It's just such a good bat, Justin Perkins. Just that position and angle to be able to hit that ball to where he wanted to.
Yeah, Waters will need to adjust his length. He's been full for the first 2. Shot. Again, a little bit full, but he's dragged his length back a little bit. It's a good start to this Victoria moving their score into 6 off the first 3 balls of this skin.
Oh, straight through. Rolled his fingers over it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Straight through the quality of Justin Perkins, and the first wicket falls in this pair.
Yeah, Justin just played across the line a little bit. What a delivery. That's a big wicket for Queensland. Unfortunately for Victoria, that undoes that hard work from that first 3 balls.
Oh, into hands.
Brandon Course, front of the court there, created another half opportunity. It just bobbled in his hands. I think if he had got it cleanly the first time, would have been a definite opportunity for a wicket. Last ball of the over. Side wide.
Finishes with that wide, as you say. 4 runs off the over with the loss of that wicket. Again, a reasonably even start to a partnership from both these sides.
Just like Josh Drever coming on the bowl. Been a few changes in the way the Queenslanders have their bowling order lined up. Normally Fitzy wouldn't bowl the first over and generally bowl some of the last overs of skins. Drever would normally bowl the 5th over, where he started bowling the 6th over here. You know, sometimes a bit of variety and changing things up keeps the opposition guessing.
Oh, that'll be out at the top. That's fantastic fielding from Queensland. The perfect ball. Nothing wrong with what Justin Perkins did to keep that out. Kieran Perkins backing up a little too far. And Queensland make no mistake.
Yeah, Nick Waters has got a good presence there in the front corner. I mean, he's no Matt Forrest, but he's nice and tall and he's pretty agile. Just a little bit a little bit of width there. And Justin Perkins just bangs that for 2. Left arm bowling in nice shape here into the right-hand batters. A bit of an off-cutter. Looking to steal a run, Victoria. Good safe call. Nice shot by Kieran Perkins too. Just a little bit of width again.
He picked it. A comfortable 2. 2 balls remain, but still this pair in a little bit of trouble early. And even more so now as Drever goes straight through Justin Perkins.
He is pumped too. He knows that's a big wicket. This pair has been dominating for Victoria most of the week and a very good pair. That's a couple of key wickets in that over by Josh Drever.
Yeah, they enjoyed that, Queensland. Victoria in some trouble now. 1 ball to come in the 6th over. Straight to Waters again. It'll be a dot ball to finish. A great over there for Queensland. 2 wickets in it, -6 from it. And as I said, Victoria in a little bit of trouble early, Moggy.
Oh, they are. I mean, that was a great over there by Josh Drever. Created a couple of chances, and Queensland capitalised with those. And that was a big moment in the game. As we've talked about, this is a big pair for Victoria. The Victorians are probably hoping this pair hits 20, 25, and even hopefully a 30. But they've got their backs up against the wall. We saw in the last game how when ACT had their backs up against the wall, how they responded. Yeah. Victoria needs something very similar to that right now.
Yeah, look, couldn't agree more. It's a real opportunity here for Queensland to take control of the game. And their captain, Lyle Teskey, is going to bowl.
There's been a slight change in the field here. Nick Waters has come back to the line.
That is a brilliant shot from Kieran Perkins. You were just talking about how they've changed the field up. Waters is back on the line. Fitzgerald is deep, perhaps anticipating the drive. Kieran Perkins says, I don't care where you put your field, I'm going to down up over their head for 3.
Yeah, great shot.
Justin Perkins squared up a little.
Yeah, good recovery there by Lyle. He got his length wrong on the first ball, but a man of his experience has just come back and put the ball in the perfect spot. Full of length.
Yeah, that's what that field is there for. Spills into the net. It's just over pitch, put away by Perkins, and get 3.
Yeah, Fitzy got his hands to it, but just wasn't able to stop it. It was obviously real good contact, and the ball was hit very hard.
This time it's a no. The right decision, and one falling right into the hands of Rob Fitzgerald.
And you can see the benefit of that field. You can see what's happening here. Obviously, they've done their research from Victoria. Good shot.
Yeah, smart single there. And 1 to come in the over.
Five runs so far in this skim. Shot.
Yeah. Justin Perkins this time finds the net to the front court. 2 to him. And, a much better over for Victoria. 9 runs from it. Gee, they needed that. They were under the pump there.
That was a big over for Victoria. It's been an excellent result for them. Rhys Dearness now is coming on to bowl for Queensland.
Well, we talked about that earlier game where a pair got under the pump and they responded well and stuck at it and kept their team heading in the right direction. These two have done it so far. We'll have to contend with Dearness for the final over of the partnership. 7 runs on the board for the Skin, 29 on the board for the Victorian team. What a fascinating over we're about to witness.
Yeah, Rhys Dearness bowls quite well. A lot of variety, a lot of change-ups. Gets a bit of a response from the pitch when he normally bowls as well. There's a perfect example. Massive off-cutter there. It's done a fair bit. Johnny Perkins didn't do a great deal wrong there. Got himself in a good position. Adjusted with the ball, but the ball just got through. Excellent start by Dennis.
He adjusts well, uses a little bit more width that time to hit a backward of point. It'll be a single.
So yeah, Dennis just got a little bit wider. And Perkins adjusted with a nice shot for one.
Such brilliant position from Kieran Perkins.
Just waited well, played it underneath his eyes. Beautiful down up for two. Again, Dennis is just probably bowling around that fourth stump line. He probably just needs to tighten up more on that leg stump.
Given. Out stumped. Justin Perkins dancing around the crease a little. That is a big call. He's questioning the umpire. I tell you what. Look, the best person in the centre with the right view of that was certainly the umpire, Andrew Hall-Villiers. He must have seen that foot come up a little.
Well, it looked like there was a bit of a shuffle of feet between left and right. It's a big wicket for Queensland either way.
Yeah.
Keeps this pair with one ball to come at 7, so single digits.
Now get a single off the last ball, but the damage well and truly done by Queensland to that pair. We've talked a lot about how rock solid the Perkins combination has proven, and Queensland have countered it perfectly. They've kept them to 8, and Victoria find themselves behind par at the halfway stage with some work to do.
A couple of big wickets by the more experienced Australian reps within the Queensland team. Obviously, Drever getting a couple there, and Dennis getting one on that last over.
So, Queensland up against Victoria in this sudden death minor semi-final here in the men's division. As we see Jared Armitage and Corey Perrott at the crease. Corey Perrott, of course, a New Zealand international. I understand he's moved over to Victoria. So, here he is representing an Australian state. I wonder how he feels about that.
I think
True Kiwi.
Well, look, I think he'd just be enjoying this experience.
For sure.
This is high level of cricket.
It's probably the best competition in the world.
Yeah, probably one. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, New Zealand are obviously a good country as well, and for their population, they actually do really well at indoor cricket. So, Robert Fitzgerald coming in to bowl.
Top ball to start, watchfully fended away by Armitage.
Yeah, this is an important pair for Victoria now. With a score on 30, they'll be looking for these guys to consolidate and hopefully get 20 or so. Nick Waters has a big presence up the front.
Yeah, not only using his height, but his reach. He's got a big wingspan, covers a lot of width there at the leg side position. It's third ball, an opportunity here for Queensland. Right in at the hip. Scampered through for a single.
It's a really good over here by Rob Fitzgerald so far, creating plenty of pressure with the third ball, and even the third ball there, nice and tight on the hip. Victoria good enough to get through for a single. Twice. This is a really good start to this pair by Queensland. Victoria under a little bit of pressure here at the moment. Queensland seem to be up and about. Shot. How good's that? Just rocks back. Perfect ball by Rob Fitzgerald. Just top of leg stump, but Perrott too good. Bangs that one up for an easy 2 off the leg side. Beautiful shot to watch.
One to come. Oh, beaten. That's not missed by much. A dot ball to finish. 3 runs from the first over. Another a good one from Rob Fitzgerald. He finishes wicketless, but out of the 12 balls he bowled, 7 of them were dots.
And look, I think that's the key. When Queensland aren't getting wickets here, they're actually bowling really, really tight, and Victoria aren't able to capitalise. So, I mean, that's a really positive sign. Queensland are bowling really, really well. At the same time, Victoria aren't throwing their wickets away. You know, the couple of wickets we saw for the last pair, it was just some good cricket.
Adam McDermott to bowl. Queensland have their noses in front.
Shot. That's the second beautiful shot off his legs that he's played. That looked amazing.
Looks pretty comfortable there.
He does. Nice and tall too, so he's allowed to get up over top of the ball and plays that one beautifully for another 2. Great shot by Perrott.
Happily soak up a dot there, Victoria.
Yeah, dots. There's nothing wrong with dots. A 0 is better than a -5. McDermott bowling pretty well here so far, the first 2 balls of this over. Nice and tight in on the legs.
Plenty of width. Armitage doesn't miss out, grabs 2.
Yeah, that's bread and butter for a player at this level. Armitage has played a fair bit now. Beautiful shot. Nice 2 runs there for Victoria. Just helps build their score and moves along to 7 for this skin.
Oh, what a rock from McDermott. Perrott's look pretty comfortable, not that time. McDermott knocks him over and another wicket falls. Queensland well and truly on top here.
Yeah, just seemed to play all around that one. Beautiful bowling by McDermott. The Yorker length delivery is the one that gets the wicket. McDermott has a little shuffle as he comes into bowl. Shot.
It's almost like that Fred Flintstone as he's getting up to speed to move the car.
Yeah, it is. Good adjustment there by Perrott as well. That was a very similar ball from the last ball that just bowled him. Played nice and straight. Good contact on the ball and run through for a single. You can call it the Flintstone shuffle.
Driven through to the back net for 5. Armitage has had enough of this. Helps himself to 5, and that's what they take off the over as well. Might see a little bit more of that intent come through from Victoria now. 5 much-needed runs. This pair finds themselves on 8. But critically, the total, 38 with 6 overs to go. Probably well below par, but still in a position where they can get upwards of 80. But that's a big ask, the way that Queensland are performing at the moment.
Well, yeah, it's going to be pretty tough, that's for sure. This here is, I think, a pretty crucial over in the game. Lyle Teskey coming on the bowl. They've set up the similar field to when he bowled the last over. Great start by Lyle. Using all his years of experience, getting that ball in the perfect area.
Kept off.
Good bit of feeling by Nick Waters again, but a good comeback by Armitage and a good call by Perrott to move him through. 1 run to the score. Score of 9 for this skin. Shot. Perrott just adjusted nicely there, just waited for the ball to come. Probably didn't come on as quick as he would have liked, but still used soft hands. Pushed the ball into the corner, 2 easy runs.
Top ball with 2 to come.
Chance at the top.
Yeah, the throw well wide. And Perrott was back. But it will be 3rd ball now to close out the over. An opportunity here for Queensland as the score has to change.
Oh!
Drever on the 3 line there.
Direct hit would have been very interesting.
Absolutely. There. Instead, it is a single, 4 runs from the over. Still just 12 runs for the partnership and 42 on the board. Said it a few times, we'll say again, below par, but certainly not out of it here, Victoria. They've got 5 overs left to try and press their case forward towards something around the 80-run mark.
Yeah, look, I think 80 is going to be very competitive. You know, it is a big match. It is a final. Queensland perhaps haven't been as good as they've been in the last couple of years. So they'll feel the pressure if they're chasing a score of 80. Got Brendan Korst coming on the bowl now.
And I tell you what, Victoria will feel like they can defend anything. They're going to come out here firing, no question, irrespective of how many runs are on the board.
Oh, that's right. It is the Victorian way.
Yeah.
They play with great intensity and great passion. And they get fired up for these big occasions, and there's not much bigger occasion than this. Shot. Use the width of the crease again well. Just backed away a little bit. Got nice and tall, up and high. Bangs that one for 2. Beautiful shot.
Queensland appealing for, I don't know, one hand, one bounce. Not sure.
I think it hit the bat the second time, so it might have come off the bat for a catch off the second one, but obviously that's not out. Great bowling by Korst. Tightens him up, doesn't give him much room. Perrett's been pretty good in that area as well. He's been a couple of nice too, so good bowling. Creates another third ball opportunity here for Queensland. Can they capitalise?
They cannot. Perrett helps himself to 2. And 2 balls remain in the third partnership. Victoria rebuilding slowly.
Nice shot for 2. Just rocks back. Paddles that one around the corner for 2 runs. This has been a good over so far for Victoria. The last 2 have been pretty good. Queensland would love a wicket to finish off this skin. Victoria would like another 2 to bring their total to 20 for this skin.
A comfortable 2 to Perrett to close out the partnership. 20 runs it is and 50 runs on the board. The tournament is in the balance for these 2 sides with 4 overs to come in this, the sudden death minor semi-final. Queensland up against Victoria. Thanks so much for your company. I'm Cameron Walter alongside Stephen Mogg, and a big 4-over period coming up now. Gee, they'd love 30 with Dinger and Carruthers coming to the crease for Victoria.
They certainly would. Be a big moment if they could get that sort of score. It will put Queensland under a fair bit of pressure. I'm sure Queensland will recognise that. They'll do their best here to keep this pair down, but even if a score of 70, I think Victoria will be very competitive with. And they just have that little bit of fight in them that, you know what, if they hit 50, I think they'll have a red-hot go at it as well.
No question. This, of course, the second of 6 finals games today and a blockbuster day of semi-final indoor cricket live from Ipswich Indoor Sports. Coming up next from 2 p.m. Eastern, it's the under-22 women's prelim final between New South Wales and Western Australia. That'll be followed from 4 p.m. Eastern, the under-22 men's prelim final, ACT up against Queensland. Then from 6 p.m, Victoria and South Australia in the women's prelim final. And then it's the men to close out the day. South Australia up against the winner of this game, the men's prelim final. Plenty of indoor cricket action to come live from Ipswich Indoor Sports. Hope you can stay with us throughout the day as we bring you live coverage. The penultimate day of the 2023 Indoor Cricket National Championships. Just a short delay.
Well, one thing Queensland will need to be careful here is time penalties, potentially.
Do they apply in minor finals? I'm not sure.
They do. It's just grand finals they don't. So there's 8.5 minutes remaining. So they need to be ready to bowl their 4th over before the time expires. There is enough time, but it is getting a little bit tight. Good start by Waters. There's that Robert Fitzgerald on the leg side line again. We've talked about it earlier. He is just a machine.
He hasn't lost much, has he?
No, not at all.
Robot. Third ball. Driven straight back. It should be out. Waters flicked it with some power. Probably didn't need to do that. Because he missed, Carruthers is home.
It's another missed chance by Queensland on the third ball opportunity. Great bowling by Nick Waters. Bowling nice and tight in the legs. Perfect area to be.
2 balls remain now.
Shot.
In position there from Dinger. Grabs 2. Oh, it's off hands. Spills into the side net for 3. Gee, I tell you what, that would have been an absolute screamer of a reflex catch. Instead, it's 3 runs, 6 runs from the over for this final partnership for Victoria. They've moved the score along to 56. 3 overs to come.
Josh Drever now coming on the bowl. Bowler great over in his first over, getting a couple of wickets. Queensland will be looking for something similar. Victoria will recognise that Drever is an attack weapon for Queensland.
Sneaks it inside the line. It's a dot ball.
Yeah. Off cutter there by Drever. Big change up ball. I think he might go express pace here. Big in swinger. It's out.
Is that a catch? Did a bowl him? I'm unsighted from where I'm sitting.
Yeah,
the bails are certainly off, but I don't know if that was Teskey.
The problem with the left-hander.
Was it a stumping? Yeah, stumping. That's what it is. So, what hands from Teskey? A huge wicket. They did not need that, Victoria.
That's massive.
Oh, it's out. Fitzgerald, the man. 2 in 2 balls, and the wheels are falling off here for Victoria.
Josh Drever again. 2 wickets in his first over, 2 wickets so far in his second. Big performance. He hasn't, he is a strike weapon for Queensland, but through the carnival he hasn't got as many wickets as you'd expect. But he's turned up on a big day like today and showing how good he is. We've got a slight delay.
Not sure what this is about. Someone getting some attention.
Perhaps a Victorian player.
Yeah, might be blood from the dive. Looks like he's getting some attention on his hammy. So short delay here. You know what was what I had to admire about that last wicket? Fitzgerald finds a way to direct hit from any position. Now, he was not in the right position to throw. The throw wasn't a nice classic throw from here. It was almost flat onto the stumps, throwing almost sidearm, still produced power and accuracy. It's not the textbook way to do it, but it is such an effective way to do it to get rid of that ball quickly.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. He gets himself in a position where he can either go to either end, and he keeps those options open so he can make a smart move. The other thing is, he practices that non-stop. He spends so much time practicing on his fielding, spends so much time on getting those direct hits, because as we know, a direct hit will more often than not get the result you're after of a wicket.
Yeah.
And it's just the experience that he has. You've said robot before. He is an absolute robot.
He's the Terminator. 3 to come. We're back underway. It's just a single to Dinger. And he is looking a little bit ginger, so limping. Perhaps opportunities for run-outs there if he's not going to be quite as efficient between the creases.
Shot. Just a little bit of width from Drever. Beautifully played for 2 runs. Oh, that one was a quicker one and straight through. What a fantastic over for Josh Drever with the figures of 4 for -13. Queensland needed a player to step up, and Josh Drever's done that so far. What a game he's having.
Well, they're just match-turning figures, right? You think about, okay, if he doesn't get those 4 wickets, not only are they not negative 13, they'd probably get 10, 15 off those 2 overs. So it's a partnership.
Yep.
It's basically a partnership worth of runs and then some. And that's why Victoria are on 49 instead of north of 80.
That's right. And runs are a premium here. Everyone's going to be vital.
Here's Draheen. Driven. Missed field. It hits the back net. It'll be 5 runs.
Yeah, he's just erred with his length a little bit there. But Victoria taking full toll. What a beautiful shot. Slight misfield at the back, but 5 runs on the score. Held his length back better there. Still a little bit too wide. And Dinger's hit that one beautifully for 2. Good adjustment. Come around the wicket. Got the ball in the right area. Create a little bit of uncertainty with the pace off the ball, but a good call by Victoria. It's a good adjustment. Come around the wicket, I think it's the right move here. Just naturally angles across the batsman. Change of pace, bit of an off-spin action, and it brings it nice and tight. It brings the third ball opportunity up.
Yeah, huge moment in the game. Tried to go wide that time. And Carruthers comfortable too. Third ball safely negotiated. 1 ball to come in the 15th. 58 on the board. Oh, suicidal run.
That man again, Rob Fitzgerald.
Yeah, there was never a run there. Oh, look, there probably was if they both run instantly, but I still think it would have been out. But they're just not on the same page. Dinger ran on contact. Probably had more visibility over the fact that it got over the front court than Carruthers did. Carruthers not having that visibility was hesitant, and that led to the run out. And I was almost about to say that they'd worked themselves into a position to get something like 70.
Yeah, I think it was going to be close. But that's a key wicket at a crucial time for Queensland. And now this is a big over here. Reece Dean coming into bowl.
Final over of the innings, 53 on the board for Victoria. And see what those run-outs have done.
Creates a little bit of uncertainty.
Anything that falls anywhere near Rob Fitzgerald, they're not running.
And for good reason too. He's been on fire in the field.
It'll be a dot ball, having hit it straight back to the receiver. And third ball, once again, another big opportunity here for Queensland, who well and truly have the ascendancy.
I don't believe they've capitalised on one yet, so now's the perfect time.
It's a leg side. So Dinger is able to turn around and go back to the non-strikers end. They'll get the runs and the delivery again.
That one's moved a mile off the deck. It's a much better line by Drever. Again, very similar to ball, just adjusted with his line. Ball's done plenty off the pitch and made it very hard for the batters. 3 balls remaining. Victoria looking to push their score beyond 60.
Left alone, or judged fair. So another dot ball, and again for the second time in the over, they're on third ball. It's the 4th time this pair have been on third ball in their innings. Big swing and a miss, and that'll be out. Another huge wicket for Queensland. And Victoria staring down the barrel here. There's just 50 on the board. 1 ball remains in their innings.
Queensland looking to take another wicket here and take momentum their way, but Victoria looking to try and consolidate here and get a couple of runs.
Left alone and a fair ball to finish. The final partnership for Victoria failed to trouble the scorers. 50 is what they finish with. And, well, Victoria, they've got a job to do to defend that in this sudden death minus semi-final. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, from Ipswich Indoor Sports here in Queensland for the 2023 Indoor Cricket National Championships Final Series. I'm Cameron Walter With me is Stephen Mogg, this sudden death minor semi-final. Fascinating viewing. Are we going to see a low-scoring contest? The two previous encounters, 50 is nowhere near a winning score. We talked a little bit about how we would expect to see Victoria come out and defend, well, any total, let alone a low one. There's going to be some fire. And they've got, speaking of fire, they certainly have the firepower to defend this.
Yeah, they do. And look, they're a very good team. And they know that the next 16 overs means they're carnival. You know, they've put a lot of time and work over the last 6 months into being here. It's been a tough week, 12 games of cricket leading up to this one. They're going to leave everything out there. They're going to give it this a red-hot crack. I think they're capable. I really do. I mean, I think Queensland has enough experience with a bat that they'll put in a good show and will probably get across the line. But you can never count a Victorian out. They are going to have a red-hot crack at this.
Yeah, they certainly look ready as they enter the court. You just see them on your screen there. They coached by Matt Fitt.
A man that's been around many years, plenty of experience.
And, well, you've touched on it there, Moggy. It's their tournament, right? 16 overs left for one of these two sides in their tournament. All I'd like to see, one of the things that have undone Victoria a few times in recent years is all of that fire and all of that energy has gone in the wrong place. It's gone to some, I'm only talking in isolated instances. This is not every ball or anything, but it's gone to a moment of aggression or a confrontation or something like that.
Yeah.
If all of that energy stays focused on their skills and their desire to win this game, then they are a red-hot chance.
Yeah, look, I think the key there is playing with a certain level of intensity, not necessarily aggression. Like, you can still be a little bit aggressive, but it's the level of intensity.
And that aggression has to be in the game. It can't be on the periphery. Yeah, or I guess what I'm saying.
It can't be towards an individual. Sometimes they get wrapped up in some of that other stuff. Queensland here throwing out some of the big guns. Robert Fitzgerald and Josh Drever coming in the bat. Two of the more experienced players, both Australian representatives. Again, probably up until the start of this carnival, wouldn't normally bat together as an opening pair, but they've done that a few times and they've batted quite well together.
Carruthers will open the bowling for Victoria. It is sudden death indoor cricket. 16 overs remain in the tournament for one of these two sides. Here's Carruthers to Fitzgerald. Starts short and wide, and it is wide. An easy start for Queensland.
A little bit of pace there too. Just got to control that. Get it on line.
Again, another one.
Yeah, second one in a row. For Victoria to be competitive in this game, they need to be really disciplined. They can't give Queensland free runs. They need to capitalise if there's any third ball opportunities, which is something Queensland didn't do. Third in a row. It's just too easy. That's 6 easy runs for Queensland and takes the pressure right off. But the problem here is he's going to bowl a Jaffa. It usually happens. Good result there. He's adjusted his line much better. Rob Fitzgerald's just hit that one a little bit flat and called no. And the event, he could do that because of the pressure that was taken off on the three balls prior to that being so wide.
Right in on the money.
It's a good adjustment. Third ball opportunity now for Victoria. Queensland didn't capitalise. Can Victoria? Shot. What a shot.
Yeah. The first run's off the bat for the innings, and it's a down-up wire from Fitzgerald. So 8 runs from that opening over, 6 of them by way of extras. That's not what you need when you're defending a low total.
Yeah, Josh Drever hasn't faced the ball yet, and he won't for the start of this over either. It's all right, you don't mind getting 8 runs off the first over, especially chasing the total, such as 50. That's a perfect start for Queensland.
There's just... Who are Victoria going to look to help them win this game? They've got 3 bowlers all on 11 wickets coming into the final series. The 2 Perkins and Daniel Van Hees. So they've certainly been the most effective wicket-taking bowlers, the most economical, Carruthers, Van Hees. So, they've got the talent. It's going to take an effort. Here's Dinger.
Yeah, they've got a bit of firepower. Armitage, I rate him as a bowler. He bowls really, really well. He's the kind of guy that could use some of that positive aggression and come and unsettle a few batters. Kieran Perkins bowls exceptionally well as well. Shot by Robert Fitzgerald. And this is the quality of the Queensland team. They get themselves in a little bit of trouble, but call well. They know when it's time to hit the ball. And again, Fitzgerald's played a perfect shot there for good contact for 2 runs. Josh Drever getting to face his first ball of the innings.
Yeah. Be a leg side.
Doesn't get a chance to hit it.
He'll be disappointed he's not getting his money's worth.
Oh, he's played plenty of games throughout the week. And again, I'm sure he won't mind. Slightly wider of a length ball. I think Victoria just erring a little bit with their bowling here. They're just not bowling enough balls in the right area and taking the pressure off for Queensland. We saw in that first over, when they got it right, it was pretty tough. But it's just a little bit too easy at the moment.
There's a chance. That is a great turn and throw from Armitage, but Drever was home. That was just clean. Everything about that, just a clean gather, an efficient disposal. Drever had enough time, but just a quality piece of fielding.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
1 ball to come for Dinger. Beaten. It'll be a dot ball to finish the over still. 6 runs from it, and Queensland well and truly on their way here in this run chase in pursuit of Victoria's 50. This is the difficult thing when you're defending a low total. You can't let the game get away from you too early. This pair gets 25 plus. The next pair gets 10, 15 off the next 2 overs. It's almost game over.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, even if they get 25 here, that's half the score.
Yeah.
But Victoria will never say die. They'll keep having a go.
And the other thing is Victoria might have a really good idea of who they think they're going to target in this Queensland 8. They might have some clear plans to, right, we've got this pair, that's where we're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at them, and we're backing ourselves to send them negative and stay in the game. So, yeah, lots of decisions within the game, contests within contests. Here's Lachlan King.
Shot. Josh Drever plays that shot particularly well. Gets himself nice and tall, and quite often you'll see him actually jump to get over the top of it. He's made good contact, 2 good runs for Queensland. Victoria in urgent need of a wicket here. Good call, make good contact. And that's the thing, Queensland don't need to take silly risks here. Victoria need to try and manufacture something out of nothing almost. But they are good enough. Leg side wide, 2 easy runs.
Yeah. That's, 10 runs in extras already.
It's over half Queensland total.
Yeah. A no ball and driven to the back court. That'll be 6 runs. The no ball was for the front foot. So 12 runs in extras. And we're only, there's 2 balls remaining in the 3rd over.
Queensland moving the score on to 24. It's almost halfway mark of the total for Victoria. Beautiful shot by Josh Drever. Loves him there, bangs that one up for 2.
You can see why he made the Australian side last year for the World Cup, and he's gone from strength to strength, hasn't he?
Oh, he certainly has. You know, his bowling was special, 4 for -13, I think, and he's just making some really good contact here as well.
So 26 on the board already for Queensland, and Daniel Van Hees, I mentioned he's been one of their leading wicket takers and one of the most economical bowlers in the side. He has got a job to do here. Drever was the man that stood up for Queensland quite effectively. Is Van Hees the man for Victoria?
Like, I think he can be, that's for sure. He's a good young player. A couple of wickets is what Victoria really need. Shot.
Yeah, width and dealt with by Drever. He's certainly got his eye in.
Yeah, there's just really good contact on the ball. Showed a lot of intent, which is really good.
Beaten.
Yeah, good pace. I think the pace is what got Fitzgerald there. He just needs to get his line a little right, create a bit of uncertainty.
There's a chance to turn and throw that time, not quite as quick from Armitage.
Well, there was a slight hesitation. I think he thought about going to the keeper's end at first, whereas if he had have gone to the top end straight away, he might have created a closer opportunity.
Oh, I think he would have had him. Fitzgerald wasn't on his bike. I think he would have had him.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Wow.
That's hit that spot out there. Kept a little bit low, top edge. Good catch in the front court by Victoria. That's the wicket they needed. Just
absolutely skidded, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
There is a spot out there. They might need to get the heavy roller out there in between games.
Yeah, you've talked a few times about that.
It's done me over a few times when I played out here too.
2 to come in the partnership. Can Victoria fight back?
Shot. Nice shot there by Drever. Consolidates after a wicket. Only the 1 run coming.
Final ball to this pair. And a comfortable 2 to Fitzgerald to finish what is a fantastic opening partnership for Queensland. 28 runs on the board in pursuit of Victoria's 50 runs. Again, sudden death indoor cricket. It's the minor semi-final. Victoria up against Queensland. On the line is a spot in tonight's prelim final. The alternative, well, it's the end of the tournament, and it's looking like that's Victoria's column at the moment. They've got a lot of work to do here to try and defend this total. We see Rhys Dearness and Lyle Teskey at the crease now for Queensland. A long conference on the sideline here. You don't see this too often, but in the context of what's happening, I'm not surprised.
Look, I'm a little surprised that Rhys Dearness has come out in this pair here with Lyle, to be honest. But in saying that, Queensland have gone out with 4 of their Australian reps, come out here to try and close the game out as best as possible, I think, to thinking. It's an interesting move.
Well, I don't mind that at all. Oh. If the game's over at the end, you say they can win the game in these 4 overs. That's it. It's game over. Victoria will have nothing left. Jared Armitage to bowl. The Queensland skipper, Lyle Teskey, is on strike. We're back in action.
Just squeezes that one out onto the offside for 2 runs. Armitage, for me, is the guy that can break this game open. Something that Victoria really need at the moment.
Sent back. Dot ball.
It's a wider ball, just snuck inside the line out there.
Yeah, they're often an optical illusion, those, because it keeps moving after it passes the crease. People are like, well, look where the keeper took it. Yeah, well, it's just that late movement that exaggerates it. That was certainly inside the line.
And even our angle here is not the greatest from the comms box.
So 3rd ball. Can Victoria strike?
Oh, it's probably going to be a wide.
Oh, it's out. To run out of the top. Again, something from nothing. Dennis is not happy with the call.
I'm not sure about that one. We'll have to have a closer look on the replay.
Did well to get some batter on it, and no, that's out. That's out for mine. I know the replay will probably show for you when we're not talking about it, but no doubt the people at home will be giving that a freeze frame. And yeah, you can see there, just incredibly tight.
Shot. What a shot by Lyle. Good recovery from that. Nice shot for 2. Armitage has bowled a great over here so far, is keeping Victoria in the game. They would love another wicket here.
That's a wide to finish the over. Lets a little of the pressure off. But an otherwise successful over for Victoria. Just 1 run from it, courtesy of that wicket. And again, the most impressive thing about it is the third ball wicket didn't come off the third ball, but they stuck at it and they zinged down those stumps. They caught Dearness napping, and that's what they need. They need just plenty of those.
Well, yeah, they need more of that, that's for sure, yeah. And I think what's important for Victoria is they just keep going hard here. And they're doing that, you know. Juddy Perkins is coming on a bowl, one of the leading wicket takers for Victoria this weekend, a man with plenty of experience, you know. And I think, you know, we talked about Queensland putting this pair in second to try and get in front of the game. Shot by Lyle. But if Victoria can keep this pair to 0 or 5, it puts an awful lot of pressure on the guys coming in next for Queensland as well. So this is a big moment in the game here, this over.
Big swing and a miss as Reece Dearness clears that front foot. Wanted a piece of that and did not get it. Oh, just not clean in the hands to Van Hees.
That's a moment there in the game, I think. Van Hees, if he had got that, it would have been a great opportunity for a run out at the top, and that would have been Queensland under an awful lot of pressure. Victoria
100%.
need to capitalise on every chance they get from here on in. It's a little bit of a change-up one. That one's kicked through a little bit more. It's wrapped Lyle on the hand.
He felt that one.
Yeah, carrying a bit of a hand injury into the game from a workplace incident a while ago, so that one's definitely hurt.
Gets it through that front court field for 2.
Just shows how tough the man is, you know. Cops one on the finger, it hurts obviously a bit. Still has the presence of mind just to play a good shot for 2. Last ball of the over. Victoria would love a wicket.
It's forwards driven into the back net. 5 runs to finish. Turns what was a good over up until that point into a great one for Queensland. 11 runs from it. And they are just 11 runs away from going ahead of Victoria's score.
Yeah, that's a big shot to finish off there. Victoria had a little bit of momentum early in that over, but Queensland just turned it back around. Doing themselves pretty good here at the moment.
Well, it has to be Kieran Perkins now, and it is. They've just got to attack every over. There's no other option. They've got to bowl their best bowler now, their next best bowler, then their next best bowler, and just do that for the rest of the game and try and stay in it as long as they can.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's a crucial over in the game. You know, if Victoria don't get a couple of wickets here, we'll find that Queensland will probably get in front of the score on these next 2 overs. And it just takes the pressure off that last pair. But then again, anything's still possible. Almost snuck over.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was going to get up there. Just floated, kept floating, didn't it?
Good feeling by Carruthers, but he's got his hands on that one and saved a probably definite 5.
Dot ball in the end.
Wrong one by Perkins, just a little bit too short. Just allow Dearness that time to adjust. Need to get that one a little bit fuller and try and draw Dearness onto the front foot. Kicker ball. Sneaks inside the leg side line. Lyle's looking for an opportunity. Or thinking about stealing a run.
Well, that's the last thing that Victoria need there, is a little bit of sloppiness leading to Queensland being able to just rotate the strike at will.
Oh, almost a misfield. Dinger there, almost dropped that one onto the side net for 2 or 3. Queensland working hard. Kieran Perkins, 2 balls to come and he's over. Would really love a wicket. Victoria really need one as well. Traditional leg spinner. Good feet there by Reece Dinners. Rocks back. Gives himself a little bit of room. Plays that one nicely for 2 on the offside.
So last ball of the 7th now. Queensland only 5 runs away from Victoria's total.
Oh, leg side wide. That's a bit of a tight call.
Yeah, I thought that one had snuck in, but...
Might have been the wrong end and it's just spun away.
Yeah.
I think it's a signal from the umpire as well.
So the leg side off the over, the last ball of the over, I should say, 7 runs from it. And this partnership, well, they've moved to 19, despite contending with Armitage and both of the Perkins.
Well, they're going strong. They're going Armitage again. As I said, I think this is the guy that can break the game open. Queensland currently on 47, chasing 50, so this is a big over in the context of the game. A couple of wickets for Victoria will put the pressure back on to Queensland, especially with their next pair coming in.
So Armitage it will be. Dennis is on strike. All or nothing for Victoria. Finds the edge. And falls safe.
He's bowled very wide in his first over, and even there, I'd like to see maybe, I mean, these guys are very good with their body and their legs, but maybe attack the stumps a little bit more.
It's a wide one, called so. Yeah, the runs and the delivery again.
And taking the rebowl, yes. There was a bit of conjecture as to whether they would.
Should always do it.
Oh, I think so, especially these two. Gives them an opportunity to get even more in front, make it easier for the pairs to come in.
Saw a Queensland master side say no to an extra delivery and then lose on the last ball. Always say yes.
Yes.
There's 2 runs and the go-ahead runs for Queensland. They're now in front of Victoria in this sudden death minor semi-final.
Oh, he's just changing, coming around the wicket. I almost said changing directions, Cameron.
You thought better of it, didn't you?
No, I'm going to say it again. Shot.
Straight to hands, though. It's a dot.
It's made good contact. A little bit flat. Would have liked to see that one get up and over a bit more. But Queensland don't need to do anything silly. Victoria just need to find something here. Dig deep, 3 balls to come in this over. Oh, what a shot.
Oh, it's out, though. Dennis run out at the keeper's end. Perkins just kept following the ball and threw down the sticks.
Totally legal, just following the ball, but that's very unlucky. It was a beautiful shot. Nowhere Dennis could go there.
Well, other than around Perkins, who hadn't moved.
Oh, he sort of I thought he was trying to go on the inside, on the stump side of him, but the ball just kept, as you said, sort of kept flowing across. So there's a little bit of a chat. Oh, it's just the umpire by the looks of it explaining.
Well, he's fielding the ball. Everything else is irrelevant. If he's fielding the ball, he can be in the way of whoever he likes. It's only if you're not fielding the ball. I'm explaining it to Dennis, not to you. I think if he's questioning that, he shouldn't be.
Yeah. And Dennis has played a lot of cricket. I mean, that was just a good bit of fielding and some good cricket all around there. Just a little bit unlucky. Big wicket for Victoria. They need another one here, but... There's a little bit of traffic there in front of Lyle.
And look, conversely, if you're not fielding the ball, you've got to get out of the way.
And I think that's the case that happened there, actually. I think Juddy Perkins has just cut across. Umpires well within his right to sort of, not necessarily warning, but have a bit of a chat and say, look, just be careful. Good call.
There's 2 runs to finish, and they'll finish the partnership with a score. Scores all even here at Ipswich Indoor Sports. It's the minor semi-final between Victoria and Queensland. And it's all Queensland at the moment. A couple of little hiccups towards the end there, but they are still well and truly in charge of this match and looking good to take their place against South Australia in the prelim final later tonight. I just want to focus on that rule a little bit more. I mean, there's a bit of history between these two sides and that rule. A penalty applied by this umpire to Justin Perkins in was it the grand final? I think it was the grand final. It might have been the grand final or the prelim.
Toowoomba, was it?
No, it's in Casey. It was either the grand final or the prelim. And, yeah, the umpire ruled that, he was moving towards the ball at some point, but then he wasn't and, interfered. I saw that in the Masters division there was a penalty for a batsman running straight into someone who was fielding the ball. The rule is this. If they're fielding the ball, the batsman has to go around them. They have to. They can't, I was running my line. No, you go around them. And if you don't, you risk being penalised.
Yep.
Conversely, what happened on that previous delivery there late in the over, you're right. Justin Perkins took 2 steps across to the centre of the wicket, wasn't ever fielding the ball. If that had resulted in a wicket, I think the umpire would have given it not out, right? It's a contentious rule. Sometimes it relies on getting in the head of the fielder, but it's not that difficult to understand.
But that rule changed recently, didn't it? If we go back to the previous edition of the rules, it was the other way around.
No, it's always been fielders had right away. Always.
Look, it's a very small place here on an indoor cricket court. There's a lot of bodies that happen. It is hard to get out of everyone's way too. I don't think there was too much malice in either of those cases today.
No, of course not.
But yeah, look, it is a very confined space out there. There's bodies flying everywhere.
Meanwhile, Drahim had opened his account with a comfortable 2. Waters, I'm not sure which net that caught on the way through, but he is also away with a single. Carruthers is the bowler, and again, Queensland are in front.
These two have been batting quite well throughout the carnival. Good shot, but a good call there. Nothing silly required by Queensland. Now they're in front. They've just got to keep rotating the strike. Just keep in front of the game. Victoria just need a couple of wickets. Almost a wicket and over. Nice shot.
Yeah, that looked pretty comfortable. Another 2 to the tally.
There's that spot again. That one kept nice and low.
It absolutely did. And he's going to have a conversation here.
Well, look, I know we just talked about this rule, but have a look at the replay. Where can he go? Can't go anywhere.
Yes, he can. He can go around them. That is the rule. No, that is the rule. He has to go around them. I'm sorry. It's black and white. It's clear as day. You might not like it.
I don't.
That's fine, but you can't run through the fielders. You just cannot do it.
In that particular case, 3 fielders converged.
Doesn't matter.
So what is he supposed to stop?
Yes, and the reason the rule's written like that is for the safety of the fielders.
I get it.
Yeah. Look, I'm a cricketer, right? I understand that. Maintain your line, all that stuff. I think he's actually penalised him here for that.
He has. Yeah, there's a bit of conjecture coming from off the court.
Look, again,
it's a big call.
I'm happy saying it doesn't necessarily make sense in cricket context. Where's he supposed to go? All of that, I accept it. But the rule is clear. As we're back underway, I'm not sure if he has penalised. He hasn't applied a penalty.
No.
So, but he did, he's warned them. And again, I don't mind that. He's saying, okay, there's nothing malicious there. I understand there's nowhere for you to go, but you can't run through the fielders.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Player safety is paramount. As we said, it's a confined space earlier. And I think a verbal warning is probably sufficient there.
See, that's where it gets. I agree in that scenario, right? But where it gets a little bit murky is that's what I was alluding to earlier. You've got to get inside someone's head. Yeah. Was he trying to run through them? Did he just have nowhere to go? It does get murky. But look, I agree with the warning in that instance. But again, yes, he does have to go somewhere else.
Bit of magic. Just disappear.
Yeah. Smoke bomb it. Here's Van Hees, his second over. Queensland still in front, 7 runs. Oh, is that out?
Oh, I think that's a bump ball. Good appeal by Victoria.
Look, Van Hees is almost at the circle. He's the bowler. That's how good an appeal is that?
That's great intensity by the young man. I like it. And this is what Victoria need. There's a little bit of feeling in this game at the moment. They need to harness that. And that's something we talked about earlier. If they can harness and channel that intensity, it's good.
Oh, that was a great piece of fielding by Perkins. He read the play well, just needed to hit.
A little bit of uncertainty in the calling there by Queensland. That was a big wicket opportunity for Victoria, which they needed to capitalise in the context of this game. The throw had it been a little bit closer. I think that was an opportunity. Good throw, just a touch wide.
They're certainly sticking at it, Victoria.
You can just feel it in the game at the moment, can't you? There's just something, there's a little spark happening here. Victoria need to capitalise on that spark and get a wicket.
Oh, that's out. There it is. It's been building, and they've cashed in, and they're still alive, the Victorians. People who are unfamiliar with indoor cricket might think that's a little bit crazy, saying that they're still alive with Queensland 4 runs in front and 6.5 overs to come, but we have seen some absolute roller coaster matches at this level in the history of the game, and is this going to turn out to be one of them?
Has all the hallmarks of it at the moment, still plenty of time. Shot. 2 runs scored, that's a good 2 runs. And the important thing about that 2 runs is it gets Queensland in front by more than the 5 marker as well. It's probably not as relevant right now, but as we get into the later overs of the game, it will become more so. Big leg side wide. That hurts.
It does.
A really good over up until that point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do they get? 1 run off the over in the end. Van Hees finishes with 2 for 3. And again, Victoria, they're still alive. It's really about this pair. I mean, how many times do I say the premiership quarter? If they can just rein this pair in and not let them get away, and the last pair starts in the 50s, then all of a sudden a wicket or 2 in that last pair, and you might see some of those nerves coming in. Here's Corey Perrott, the Kiwi international.
Nice shot. Gave him a little bit too much width. Big spin bowler there. But yeah, just started on the wrong line. Gets that a little bit tighter. I think that'll be hard to get away. He's just got a nice bit of bounce through then. Good shot.
Well, I think these two might have overheard us talking about how Victoria is still in it. They're not interested in that at all.
No. That's a couple of great shots under pressure by the Queenslanders, and that's just changing the momentum a little bit of the game.
Oh, and again, they've just done this. 3 great shots off a men's international player to almost in 3 balls, put the game beyond doubt.
Yeah, it's been a massive 3 balls.
Yeah.
Great contact, great shots. And that's just composure at the moment, They've been under a fair bit of pressure, and they've got the results.
That's 4 unbelievable indoor cricket shots in a row.
Under pressure, too.
Yeah.
Under a massive amount of pressure.
Well, they're not under any pressure anymore.
No, Victoria are up and they're in for the fight, but you can just feel it's dropped again.
Oh, from here they need to take 10 wickets. It's game over after these 4 balls.
Got a little bit greedy there, I think. He went very hard at that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm banging these. I'll try and bang this one as well. And look, sometimes as a batter you can get into that trap as well. You just get that little bit overconfident, and that was the case there. Been a big over for Queensland so far. The Vics really need to finish with a wicket. Good call. Will create a 3rd ball opportunity for the first ball of the next over. It's going to be a slight sort of 20-second delay here. A player gets a bit of blood dried off.
So still 5 overs to come in the match, and perhaps the tournament for what is increasingly looking like Victoria.
Well, yeah, they're going to need at least 1 wicket per over and a couple of overs with multiples to even stay in the game. But pressure is a funny thing, if they can say they can get 2 in this over and keep Queensland to 60, they're only 10 in front. It's not as easy if the pair, if they're only 10 in front, the next pair would prefer to be 20 in front, and it makes their life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And I think this is the right move here. And going with Kieran, one of the strike bowlers for Victoria. I mean, not necessarily by pace, but with the variety bowls. He bowls really well. He's got a great wrong, and he's got a quicker ball as well. This is a big over.
It is third ball.
Shot.
That's great batting.
Yeah, that was the wrong one. I'm not quite sure if he's picked it, but he's just got himself in the right position there to play a great shot.
Well, if he didn't pick it and he's hit that, he's quite the bat.
He's hit some
to adjust that, yeah.
Brilliant shots before.
Yeah.
It's a genuine leg spinner there. That's the variety that Kieran offers, We've seen the wrong, we've seen the leg spinner. He does have that quicker ball. I'm not sure if we'll see that one here. I'd probably go the wrong one here, I think, if it was me. I can't bowl them, but if I could. Nice go on the genuine leg stinger, that's a chance.
Well, he put it down.
Oh, he's dropped it. I think the batter actually gave himself out in that particular case. Oh, that's a big wicket. A big opportunity. Checking the replay. Oh, I think it might have been a catch.
It's all academic now.
Good call.
2 balls remain.
Yeah, I think Queensland will just want to make sure they don't lose a wicket in these next 2 balls. It maintains the lead of 20 plus for the last pair coming in. Just dragged that one a little bit short. Was a little bit disappointed. 1 ball to come. Queensland in front by 23. Good shot, good call.
It's a dot ball to finish, and 23 runs for the partnership. They were under the pump a little bit midway through, but they've responded with some confidence, and they've put Queensland, they've put them in the prelim final, if you ask me. 4 overs remain. They're 23 runs in front. This sudden death minus semi-final. Thanks so much for joining us as we come to you live from Ipswich Indoor Sports here in Queensland. I'm Cameron Walter, and with me, Stephen Mogg. There's plenty more action to come. Not only 4 overs remaining in this game, but from 2 p.m. Eastern time, that is, we've got the New South Wales side up against WA in the under-22 women's prelim final. At 4 p.m, the ACT up against Queensland in the under-22 men's prelim final. Then it's back to the Opens level. 6 p.m, Victoria up against South Australia in the women's preliminary final. And to close out a blockbuster day of semi-final indoor cricket action, it's the men's prelim final between South Australia and what is almost certainly to be Queensland. So thanks again for your company. I hope you can stay with us throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening for the final series of the 2023 Indoor Cricket National Championships. But McDermott and Corst at the crease now for Queensland. Dinger is the bowler. An absolute miracle needed here for Victoria. Here is Dinger. We're back in action.
Wider length ball.
Chance. Oh, they run through.
Slight misfield at the back, and it's an easy run for Queensland. I think Victoria need a minor miracle.
Well, major miracle, mate.
Yeah, I can't see it happening, but cricket is a funny game, indoor cricket, and, a couple of wickets here or a hat-trick or something like that might turn the game on its head. Oh, half a chance. Dinger comes in the bowl, third ball of his over.
Well, a couple of little half chances here for Victoria, but as has been the case, not cashing in on all of them. And even if they were able to, it's probably too little too late at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I think Queensland will be looking for some confidence with this pair as well. Just about nice and solid.
Oh, straight through.
Commentator's good.
Yeah, well, Dinger is not going to give up. He can stay in touch here, Victoria. And look, I'm disappointed for the Vics. And it's important that people hear me there where I say for them, not in them. I'm disappointed for them. They're a better side than this margin is showing. They've just come up against the Queensland side who I think are finding their form at the right time.
Yeah, I agree.
And not everything's gone well for Victoria in this game.
Yeah, look, Queensland definitely haven't hit their straps, and I don't think this is their perfect game at this point in time. They have been much better than they have been through the rest of the carnival, but there's scope for some improvement too. So I think they'll be happy with the results. You're right. I mean, if Victoria hits another 10 runs, 15, 20 runs, it's a much different game.
Yeah.
And it's just a couple of times they let themselves down with the bat.
Yeah, some of those wickets were certainly gifts. But others, well, I guess what those gifts do is they feed Queensland for the half chances that they take, and they make those half chances all the more meaningful. So instead of them having lost one jagged wicket, they've lost a jagged wicket and one or two gifts in the skin. It's a massive, massive turnaround.
Oh, it certainly is. And like we talk about a lot in indoor cricket, momentum and momentum shifts, you know. And once a team gets on top, it's very hard to reverse that. And it just takes some good cricket to be able to do that.
Chance at the top, needs to hit, can't do it. And through for two. And no doubt South Australia will be back at their accommodation if they've made it back there yet. I was talking to some of them after the major. They're 45 minutes away, but they'll be watching this with great interest as they... Oh, he's got another one.
Chopped on.
Yeah, chopped on. And, well, they're sticking around, Victoria.
They are. They are.
But, yeah, the South Australians will be watching with great interest. They're obviously playing in the prelim against, again, what is almost certainly to be Queensland. What lessons do you think they can learn from having watched this match?
I don't know. Look, I think at the moment they'll be more focused. Obviously, with the injuries they've had, I think they'll be more focused on their recovery and that side of things and trying to get their blokes up for it. And by the sounds of it, they've got a few guys that are a bit iffy. So do they know who they're going to play with? I think they'll be a little bit concerned by the result here if it's going to go the way we feel it is with Queensland. Because, again, we've just talked about Queensland just starting to hit their straps. Probably one of the surprises of the tournament is they're not finishing in the top two, which they've done so many times over the last few years. So they're coming good at the right time. I think they'd probably be a little worried about coming up against Queensland that's on the improve.
Another wicket falls. They're not going anywhere, Victoria. I've used the words almost certainly twice now. Surely not. Surely not.
I don't think that's some smart cricket there by Adam McDermott. He's come dancing down the wicket. 14 runs in front now. This pair -9. 2 overs and a ball to come. The Victorian crowd are up. Sensible finish there by McDermott.
Well, -8 from the over. 2 overs to come. Is, as you say, 14 runs between the two sides. So you'd think, well, Victoria would probably need 4 wickets?
I mean, and I'll pose a question here. Perkins just took 2 wickets to come back in the game. Should have he bowled earlier?
Oh, yeah. Look, I've said a few times, they should have just been all-out attack much, much earlier. But, again, I'm not in their camp. They might have specific plans where they thought they'd be more effective at particular bats. I'm not sure. Perrott bowling his second over.
It's kept a little low. It's hit that spot again. To create a third ball opportunity for Victoria. This is one they really need to capitalise to keep in this game or even just have a sniff.
Oh,
It's a half chance, and we've seen a shoe go flying.
It's normally a sure sign of injury or death, if you believe the internet. I'm glad he's okay.
And that's big. It also gets Queensland in front by 15, which is 3 wickets. Inside edge. German hasn't looked overly confident in this batting performance. Chance.
Two to come in the penultimate over. It is two. I think that's a highlight for me, that a lot of the front court run-outs from nowhere that we see the likes of Floros, Perkins pull off, it's ball in hand. Waters as well. Ball in hand throw.
Yeah.
That one just there was a low percentage effort slap.
Yeah.
Did he have enough time to grab a throw? I don't know, but that's one of the things those really effective front court fielders do, is they get it in their hand and out
it's
so
almost
quickly.
throwing it like a dart,
That's
getting
right.
that quick release. You get so much more control, and we've talked about
And
it a number
power.
of times. Yeah, direct hits.
Yeah.
Direct hits more often than not will get a result.
So 1 over to come now in this sudden death minor semi-final, and 6 balls you would think remain in the tournament for Victoria. Lachlan King will bowl with McDermott on strike.
A little bit of a battle. He's almost chopped it on. Five balls to come.
Through for 2.
Nice shot there by McDermott.
And that puts any hope of a major miracle beyond doubt. With 4 to come. Number 2 to the tally. There was a half chance at the top, but cost us home.
Three balls remaining. McDermott on strike to King. Nice little paddle. Paddle for 2.
It's a no ball.
Would you re-bowl this one?
No. Actually, I would. You've got to get your money's worth.
Play for stats?
Yeah, absolutely. I need all the help I can get, mate. Last ball of the semi-final. It's a dot ball to finish, and there it is, the end of the tournament for Victoria. Queensland keep their dream alive and will take on South Australia in the prelim final later tonight. Was not quite as close as we'd perhaps anticipated, some 27 runs separating the two sides, but what a performance it has been from Queensland, really taking control in that second partnership of the first innings, and then again closing it out in the last partnership of that innings, keeping Victoria to 50. That's where they won the match.
Well, yeah, I think so. And I think the key for me is the big players. The big name players for Queensland stood up when they were needed the most. We're talking about your Drevers, your Dearnesses, your Fitzgeralds, and your Lyle Teskys. 4 Australian players they really stood up in that game, and they got to help get the result for Queensland. In particular, Drever with the ball.
He best really, on ground, clearly, yeah.
Blew that game right open.
Yeah.
So I think Queensland will be very happy with that result. Obviously, Victoria will be very disappointed, but they've had a pretty good tournament. They just couldn't get over the line here. But yeah, it's going to leave for an interesting game later this evening.
Certainly will. So our commiserations to Victoria as their tournament comes to an end. No doubt they'll be back in 2024. Queensland, the tournament remains alive, and they will take on South Australia in the preliminary final later tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you can join us then. Don't go too far. Coming up next from 2 p.m, it's the Under-22 Women's Preliminary Final between New South Wales and Western Australia. Until then, for Sportscast Australia, for Cricket Australia, and for Stephen Mogg, I'm Cameron Walter. Thanks for watching.